So let's bring you the first conversation for the day. It's about that big story, the sentencing of former Deputy Senate President Ekweremadu, his wife, and their physician in London at the Old Bailey. Lots of legal issues right there, the intricacies, understanding the laws, what the law says, and perhaps the way forward. We're joined on the program this evening by Dr. Kayode Ajula, who is a legal practitioner, a fellow Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, United Kingdom, managing partner, Castle of Law at London. He joins us live from our Abuja studio. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Well, good evening, Kayode. It's my pleasure.
I know this is the case a lot of people have followed, not just legal practitioners, essentially people in Nigeria and outside the country, a big one. But you're a legal practitioner as well, and you're familiar, at least with the laws in the United Kingdom. So can you just help us understand what are the facts that were decided upon today?
Well, what's the major issue I believe we need to get our attention into is basically the Modern Slavery Law Act of 2015. And if you remember, the United Kingdom has been a forerunner of anti-slavery right from about two centuries ago. That's when we have the likes of Ajayi Crowther and co. And if you remember, in part of what made that law to be is that as at now, the global index rate of slavery is over 40 million. And when we talk of slavery, it is not the direct slavery with the one you use your money to buy, but in some things, some transaction are slavery in nature. And that's why we have that act. And the act, unfortunately, seem to have something we can call strict liability offense. Offense in the sense that the intent of whosoever may have committed it will not be the issue. What matters most is that it has happened. And in this matter, unfortunately, the distinguished Senator Ekweremadu has been found wanting in the sense that someone is alleged to have been taken to the UK based on the issue of his child, that is his daughter, that they need to do some organ transplant. And again, another thing we have to know quite well is that there's a difference between organ donation and organ harvesting. There's nothing wrong in doing organ donation, in donating organ. But it is like a very thin line between these two concepts. That is organ donation and organ harvesting. Harvesting seems to be transactional. There must be some issues, and that can be. And when it turns to organ harvesting, it is a crime, and it falls under this Modern Slavery Act. Quite unfortunate, like I do say, any issue that has to do with criminal liability is unfortunate. Quite unfortunate that it happened to Ekweremadu, because with the letters, plea of mercy, left and right, though which I believe is erroneously done in my own understanding, you can see that it is more of issue of parents trying to save the child, but unfortunately it's something that went wrong. It's a transaction that went wrong, and law, we've been saying, is no respecter of anyone, and that is why today Ekweremadu and his family is going down for it.
When you talk about those letters or clemency that were written, I mean, former President Olusegun Obasanjo wrote, where we had calls from the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. The IHRC also wrote, the ECOWAS Parliament wrote as well. And you say that perhaps it were done erroneously. What do you mean by that?
Well, in my own opinion, I believe it was done erroneously, because what we have to know is this: there is thin line between interferencing with the smooth running of courts and writing letters. Yes, there's allocutors. There is always a plan for that, and Ekweremadu has his own lawyer. My understanding is that if there must be such letter, you don't need to turn it to rooftop advocacy, particularly when there's a pending case. And to me, it is more like interference. The best way to do it is that since Ekweremadu has his legal team, whatsoever may be the letter to show that he has a very good character, which I believe in, should be sent to the lawyer. And during the time when the lawyer will ask for that, maybe the judge should temper justice with mercy, that is when such kind of issue need to be raised. But to take to the public when the matter is going on, and don't forget, this is a UK where judge don't give, let me use the, pardon me with using that word, don't give a damn is what is happening on the street, what is happening in public. It is what is before the court that will be. And I want to believe that this is like a carryover of what our politicians are doing. A matter will be in court, and instead for us to allow the judge to do the case at their feet, we take to the street, we turn ourselves to another judge, passing judgment, passing comment, and we should not be. To me, that should not be. And now, and I think I need to make another suggestion. Now that Ekweremadu has been sentenced and has been sentenced, the best way, this is an auspicious time to do that. Tomorrow, King Charles III will be coronated as the King of England, as the head of state. There is what is called royal prerogative for pardon. And I believe anybody that wants to write letter, anybody that wants to make plead for Ekweremadu, this is the best time to ask the sovereign of the United Kingdom, that's His Majesty, King Charles III, to do the writing to pardon Ekweremadu. The precedent has been there since as far back as 1717. King George did the same, 2003, to even as very close to 2021. The same thing has been happening. Sovereign can do that, and I believe that is the plea we need to be making for Ekweremadu, not to be writing and to be interfering with the conduct of the court.
I wonder as well, the talk about even diplomatic options. I know that talk was rife at some point, saying, there could be some sort of conversation through that route, diplomacy. Is it that diplomacy also doesn't work when it comes to issues of the courts?
I think we're having two issues there, because I remember many people has been making the issue that Ekweremadu being the being the number four person being of his office as the deputy senate president, maybe he has some issue of diplomatic passport. But I want to believe that by the law, carrying diplomatic passport is different from whether you are covered by the Diplomatic Immunity and Privileges Act, as the one in UK and every other places. This one has to be with consular officer. It doesn't have to be a diplomat. So the issue is this: can we say the Ekweremadu is a diplomat to be so covered with such privileges and immunity? That's another thing. But I believe states do have a channels in discussing this diplomatically. If that is what you are talking about, I think Nigeria needs to do that. And I want to believe that Nigeria is doing that, because I remember it got to a point that one has to contact the High Commissioner to really find out what they are doing about the Ekweremadu. Though I know this is not a subject of public discussion. I know Nigeria must be doing something. But again, like I say, this is going to be one of the first time such conviction will have that. And in most of those countries, they are targeting. The higher the profile, the higher it will be discussed. The higher it's discussed, the higher everybody seems to know about it. And the more people are known about it is to deter others from doing the same thing. Just so unfortunate, it has to be Ekweremadu, somebody I have respect for, somebody I call a friend, with a PhD holder in law, that this is happening to. But like I said, law is no respecter of anyone. And what is the main as of today, I don't think, though I'm not speaking as his lawyer, because I don't even know the strategy the lawyer is doing with the next step. Maybe they are going to appeal. But to me, what I think that needs to be done is to focus and to make it a high premium. Good enough. There's a good mood. Unfortunately, there's good mood in the United Kingdom, being in the coronation of the King Charles III. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we are not. I don't think that mood, we can say the mood in Nigeria is good now. So, and I believe one of the first acts, I think, let me use this opportunity although I've even sent a letter to the king to see a way how he can exercise that royal prerogative for pardon, and that it can be done. He has that prerogative, and is a royal prerogative that can be done. That I believe Nigerian president, good enough, President Muhammadu Buhari is in the UK. Very sure he must see the King Charles tonight or tomorrow, and I believe that must provide an opportunity to speak about one of Nigerian officials to see that there must be a way out, particularly not on the fact that what he did is wrong or wrong, but the intention. Though when it comes to strict liability offense, nobody care about whether the intention, but we need to know that every parent will do the same thing. And based on that, there must be a way to ensure that at least conviction alone is even enough. Once you are conviction, particularly in the UK, I know what it is. Conviction sometimes is more greater than even sentencing. That's punishing anyone. There are many people that will be convicted that will not be punished because what matters most is that concept, that issue that so person have been convicted. But there's always a way out. With this sense of prerogative of mercy, King Charles III has the prerogative, and it can be done tomorrow, can be done next tomorrow, but I believe Ekweremadu is due for that. And I think we should all come with raise with one voice to ask for this. And I believe, after all, Nigerian government do give all these prerogative of mercy sometimes to some people. And I think if there must be anybody that's so qualified for that, I think it's Ekweremadu. That is what I think we should focus on, and that's what we should ask for.
Well, some have also talked about legal options available. I don't know if you could give some insight into that one as well, especially because
the legal option available, like I said, the UK law has its own tier, like Nigeria. If you remember, we take it from the UK. We have the High Court, which is a court of first instance, which has just delivered judgment today and passed the sentence today. And after that, we have the Court of Appeal before the Supreme Court. There are still other options. It depends on reading the judgment, and to say it is, I must confess, I'm here to really read the judgment. The only thing is to watch what the judge was saying. Watching is different from when you dissect to review the judgment to know where there's any lapses. So one may not know whether the legal team of Ekweremadu will proceed to the Court of Appeal or go to the Supreme Court as it is. And for me, I'm sure nobody's asking for my opinion when it comes to that, but there's still some other option. But ask me as a private citizen, and what I think will be is what I believe will be the fastest, which is due for considering. Even today, you can see what the judge even mentioned, that his character is so perfect. There's no issue about that. It is just something that is so unfortunate, and it could happen to anybody. We have to be sincere. I know many people, we don't even need to look at this position. It could happen to anybody. I know what it means, modern law. My mother may do the same thing. And I know if my father is alive, if any of his children is having this issue, may take that too. These are the things we need to be sure about. It's just unfortunate that he may not really understand the way it works there. And I believe both the UK government and the courts, they are right on their own to do what they did today. But there must be a way out. And I believe that is what we should pursue.
A lot of people have talked about maybe lessons to be learned from this. It started as far back as June. Even this whole process started before that, before the police announced the arrest. What are the lessons to take away from this, maybe for Nigeria, the judiciary, across board?
Well, from the perception of that case, of that matter, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. Are we going to talk about the way the case is investigated? Even right from the beginning, you can see that it took the UK police, that Metropolitan Police, before even mentioning the name of Ekweremadu, not in Nigeria. I think that is a lesson to Nigerian police, that when you are doing your investigation, you don't go overboard. You don't turn it to media trial. Do a very comprehensive, serious investigation and come out with your result at the end of the day. And apart from that, I think I was in the court once or twice, and you can see from the beginning, you can see the solemnity, you can see the way everybody conduct themselves in a proper manner. Not to see people carrying billboard shouting, and you see not everybody going to the media, castigating the judge and saying all sort of thing the way we used to do here. And I believe that is the carryover when you see some people writing letter to the court to say we'll do away with the case. And apart from that, it's just shown us that the court, the law is no respecter of anyone. That the law will do its course, will take its course, even if ever must fall. Irrespective of your office, irrespective of your station in life, irrespective of how highly pleased you are. The judge even mentioned it, that this man is well known, his office is high, everything. But despite that, the law still take its course. And that's what I believe all Nigerians should take home. And we should pray that our country too will find a way where we believe in the law, we believe in our judiciary, we believe in the system. The police, you can see, no one try to subvert the system. Like somebody mentioned yesterday that I didn't mean that this happened in Nigeria, Ekweremadu will have set free. And I told him it is not the court that will set him free, but the system, particularly even the investigator. You see in the country where even the IPO, that's the investigating police officer, will even be telling the victim of the crime, will be telling him you cannot do this, and will be cajoling them and forcing them to recount their statement. It is so sad, but I think there are many lessons to be learned, and that is part of it. That once you do things right, it is to cure some issue. Like I said, today in this whole world, global index of slavery over 40 million. I'm sure this case we has already bring to fore the slavery in different dimensions that it is, and this is the way to cure it. So when it comes to, even you find out that by the time you read that Slavery Act, that's Modern Slavery Act of 2015, you find out that even transaction, some kind of employment now, the way it is being counted, the way the agreement, the employment agreement, that even can fall under the Modern Slavery Act. And I believe this is the way that Nigeria, particularly with our own peculiarity, we need to have such kind of law, to have modern slavery, because you can see the way even employment, and more particularly by employment and compensation of workers in Nigeria, you can see that all what is happening in the name of employment, even is another modern slavery. And with this, I think our legislator, our lawyers, and all the stakeholders I think they need to take hints from this law and to ensure that there's a way to build a great nation, and that is the beginning of doing that.
Well, I wouldn't let you go without asking you this question, because Nigeria is gearing up for some sort of legal fireworks. On Monday, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal is meant to swing into full gear. And I wonder what your expectations are, really, because all eyes will now be on our own tribunal, our own courts.
Well, you know, I'm a Christian and we pray every day. And one of our Father's prayer is that thou shalt not lead me into temptation. I pray I will not be led into temptation by asking this question. A matter is already before the court. And as a lawyer that ought to know, one should not make any comment that may prejudice or that can affect the whatever that is being discussed. You can see I mentioned some minutes ago that there are some letters, some comment can interfere into the course of justice. So, but one thing I believe is this: on Monday, the firework will start. One thing that I'm so certain is that I've seen the list of the judges, the panel. There are those that have spent their time on that bench, that have read most of their judgment. I believe in them. I have faith in them. And none of them have been found wanting here and other. And I keep on saying this. It is only in political cases that you see that our people accusing judges of corruption and all that. And I pray all those that will do all those accusations should go home and sleep, because we're having great men and women sitting on that panel to do justice, and I'm sure justice will be done. I don't want to go into who is right or who is wrong, whether the petition is perfect or whether the petition is watery. I don't think I would really love to comment on that, in as much I would really love, but as a lawyer, you have to conform with the law. But one thing I think I need to assure Nigeria, and I'm assuring myself, is that great men are sitting in that panel, and justice that we so crave for will be done.
Well, my question is essentially to ask for your general expectations. Never will I lead you into temptation, but I'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Kayode Ajilo, legal practitioner, fellow chartered Institute of Arbitrators, United Kingdom, and managing partner, Castle of Law, London. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.